If you visited a fuel pump today, your wallet must have felt a sudden and for many a sharp pinch as well. Petrol and diesel prices have been hiked across the country by 3 rupees per litre. Compressed natural gas or CNG is also up by 2 rupees per kilogram. And for a long time, these companies were making heavy losses, around 1,000 to 1,200 crore rupees each day. In a month, the losses had reached close to 30,000 crore rupees. And the main reason for this price hike is the sharp rise in global crude oil prices, which have crossed $100 per barrel. The ongoing conflict in West Asia and disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz have affected supplies. India imports 85 to 90% of its crude oil, so these global changes hit us directly. And even after this increase, the losses of the oil companies are not fully recovered. Now, 3 rupees might sound like a small number in isolation, but in a vast economy like ours, fuel prices are the invisible thread connected to almost everything that we consume. Daily travel will become more expensive as petrol, diesel and cab fares may slowly rise. Transport costs are also likely to push up the prices of groceries and essential items. Online deliveries could cost more because of higher logistical expenses. And overall, this may add to inflation pressure, making many everyday goods pricier. Restaurants, factories and other businesses may pass on their increased fuel costs to the end customer. Predictably, this economic shock has triggered an intense political showdown. The opposition has launched a fierce coordinated attack. Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi called it a mistake of the Modi government for which the public is being forced to pay, while Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge labelled it as a leadership crisis. On the other side of the aisle, the ruling BJP has strongly defended the decision. Union Minister G. Kishan Reddy stated that the hike was absolutely unavoidable given the global energy crisis, while Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman dismissed the opposition's criticism as petty and shameful.
जिस तरीके से 100 से ऊपर कच्चे तेल का भाव गया अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाज़ार में, पहली बार मोदी सरकार में, हमारी गवर्नमेंट में तो 150 पे रहा 8 साल जब यूपीए की सरकार थी, लेकिन उसके बाद कच्चे तेल का भाव कम हो गया था। अब पहली बार 100 से ऊपर गया है तो रुपया 100 के पास आसपास पहुंच गया और आपने देखा पेट्रोल डीजल भी बढ़ गया आज। ये सरकार को समझना चाहिए, आम जनता पे ये बोझ नहीं डालना चाहिए।
अब आपने देखा 2 महीने तक, जब तक चुनाव चल रहा था, सारे मंत्री, सारे विधायक, सारे सांसद, केंद्र की सरकार, पेट्रोलियम मंत्री, प्रधानमंत्री, गृह मंत्री कह रहे थे तेल का भंडार भरा है, गैस का भंडार भरा है, देखो प्रधानमंत्री जी की खूबियां, देखिए कितने महान है वो, पूरी दुनिया में दाम बढ़ गया, हिंदुस्तान में नहीं बढ़ पाया। अब क्या हुआ? 4 मई को जैसे ही रिजल्ट आया, आपने कहा डीजल का इस्तेमाल ना करो, पेट्रोल का इस्तेमाल ना करो, गैस का इस्तेमाल ना करो, सोना ना खरीदो, विदेश की यात्राओं पे ना जाओ, वर्क फ्रॉम होम करो, और आप दूसरे ही दिन उड़ के रोड शो कर रहे हैं।
India should have realized that 85% of our energy security needs comes from other countries and 45 to 50% of it passes through Strait of Hormuz, and we are seeing such terrible times, and the only reason the price hike did not happen was the Bharatiya Janata Party trying to get the political mileage out of it to ensure that they would get the results that they are seeking from all the election going states, and now the people have to pay a price for it.
Look at the numbers again. With oil companies losing up to 1,200 crore rupees every day, this 3 rupee hike still does not fully cover their losses. Does this mean citizens should brace themselves for further fuel prices and hikes in the coming weeks? And at a time when household budgets are already stretched, how does the government plan to shield the common citizen from the inevitable cascading impact of inflation, groceries, the WPI, highest in the last 42 months, and that is going to travel to the consumer and retail inflation as well. Then talk about travel and everyday essential goods. With us on the broadcast, Manish Bariyar, spokesperson for the BJP, advocate Nikhil Jain, political analyst, with us on the broadcast. Long time no see, gentlemen. Let's get the snowball rolling here. Mr. Bariyar, you see, if the hike was this unavoidable economically, we've been seeing over the last 75 days, the Strait of Hormuz is the new trending word out there. Why did it happen immediately after the elections? I mean, doesn't the timing here become suspect and itself make the opposition's charge politically a little bit credible here?
Good evening to you, Kabir ji, and all the viewers and my co-panelists. It's very ironic and it's very laughable. India was actually spared of price hike for last 3 months. Instead of congratulating the government, the opposition is attacking it. It's something which is very, very ironic. In fact, if you look at in last 3 months, in Pakistan, the prices have gone up by 62%. In Nepal, in Sri Lanka, but let it we'll pass that off. Even in if US, if you convert the price, it is 207 rupees per liter. In Europe, most of the places you will find that it is more than 200 rupees per liter. Now, tell me a country which is actually cheaper than what India, except those oil countries. I think they should congratulate the way the government has been able to absorb this shock. Right. I find it very hilarious that they are complaining that the prices have not gone up. And that's why they are, the people of this country are punishing them because this is cheap politics. This is not the way politics is done. Wherever the government has done the right thing, and I'm sure the viewers would know that even at this stage, 3 rupees hike is something which is the people of this country are ready to absorb for national interest. It's not that it is hidden from anyone that what kind of crisis the world is going through, right? Everybody knows the kind of crisis we are under. Everybody knows the kind of efforts we have made. Even today, the Prime Minister was in UAE. And look at the kind of contracts and the kind of agreements that have happened. Why he was here in such a difficult times? Because he wanted to ensure that the strategic reserves as far as our petrol and oil, everything is taken care of. There's an investment of $5 billion from UAE here. Now look at the way this government is working. And at this time, this cheap politics and these kind of loose statements, I don't think it behoves
Nikhil,
of
Nikhil,
the opposition the way they are
Mr. Barrier
actually
says
saying.
congratulations are in order. And I mean, it's no news that it's not just India. Almost every major economy globally is, in fact, facing this oil shock. So is this really economic failure, or congratulations indeed is in order?
So
Samir, I think all
my
of us
point
should
is something
every
else.
day get up, pray in the morning. Manish, you've had your turn, please. I think all of us in the morning should get up, pray, and pray to Lord Modi ji, and then bang utensils, and then congratulate him for running the country so well. This is absolutely ridiculous that the BJP, every time they do something stupid, they expect the opposition to come and praise them. Let me put out the facts in order. Now, the Prime Minister
Praise
and the
wherever it is
government is
due.
going around. Manish, can you please not interject? I don't expect that
No,
from
I'll
you.
not
Please.
interrupt, but praise wherever it is due.
I will absolutely praise the government for coming out with an idea like the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, just so you know that, and that is out of the way. I am not somebody who criticizes the government at every step of the way, but when the government follies, the opposition, the people of the country have to criticize. And the figures are in order for everyone to see that in March 2026, we imported crude oil worth 1,32,000 crore rupees, but 50,000 crore worth of the crude oil that was imported was refined by Indian oil refineries and sent and sold abroad. Now, the question is, when we are facing the kind of fuel shortages and the other problems that we're facing in India at the moment, where the Prime Minister has to cut down his 30-car cavalcade to a 2-car cavalcade. First of all, I don't really know how the SPG protection can work with a 2-car cavalcade, but that aside, when you are taking drastic measures of that extent, how are you allowing private refineries like that of Mr. Ambani to sell 40% of the crude oil being imported into India to external countries? We have seen that every time prices of vegetables, onions, wheat, anything rises in the country,
Kabirji, I
sugar
would like to
rises in
come
the
in here.
country,
I'm sorry.
the government, Manish, please, you'll have your turn. Please counter once I'm done speaking.
Sure.
So every time you have a price increase in onions or sugar or any of these commodities, the government says no export embargo, nobody is allowed to export, and the farmers of India suffer because of that. Why does Mr. Ambani not suffer in a similar manner? And they say that 50% increase is what we have seen in other countries in the past few months. What they fail to tell you is that even after the increase, the prices of petrol in India continue to remain among the highest. Not particularly the highest, but among the highest. To give you an example, Nigeria, the gasoline prices of Nigeria today are 1,281 rupees of the local currency, which is equivalent to 90 rupees in India. Let me also point out one very, very important fact to your viewers, which nobody is really talking about, that what we get in India is not 100% petrol. It is 80% petrol, 20% ethanol, 71 rupees per litre is the rate of the ethanol, including GST and transportation that the government itself has fixed. So 14 rupees of ethanol and 800 ml of petrol. If I equalize for that, in a state like Madhya Pradesh, which is ruled by the government, where you pay 108 rupees for 80% petrol and 20% ethanol, or in other words, you're paying 118 rupees for a liter of petrol, which is higher than pretty much anywhere in the neighborhood. You can't expect and compare the amount of money people are paying in the United States for petrol. Let's not forget that the United States has a GDP per capita that is 20 times ours.
All right,
Let's talk about India.
Nikhil, I'm running out of
I
time,
need
so
to
that
come
we
in,
can go across the board a couple of
completely.
times. Mr. Barrier, your rejoinder, and whilst you're at it, when the government says that the government is trying to shield the consumers, and it did so for about 3 months, experts are now warning that this 3 rupee increase may only be the beginning, and Indians should be prepared for more, fiscal pain ahead.
See, I must tell you that when I pointed out the kind of challenges which this government is facing and every government globally, and I think the people of this country are very wise. They understand this. And there were a number of things Nikhil ji actually spoke about. I would like to just point out a couple of things which are very, very hilarious, right? I don't know from where he's getting those kind of a data. For example, if you look at current account deficit of this country, it is one of the lowest in this world. Right. Look at inflation. It is just 3.8%. Again, one of the lowest in the world. Look at growth rate of this country, one of the highest in the world. Now, under such challenging circumstances, the way our economy is being handled, the way people are being, really given relief. Now, let us look at oil marketing companies. They are losing 1,000 crore every day. 30,000 crore every month they are losing. Now, are you trying to say that we are going to destroy all these institutions just because that in these challenging circumstances also, and the country cannot absorb rupees 3 up? I don't think so. People are ready to make sacrifices whenever challenges are there. When the Prime Minister
Saying that the government
COVID,
continued
we
to
saw
enjoy
that
lower
people
crude
rose
prices
up to that
earlier
challenge.
and not
Another
fully
point.
pass on the benefits. And this time around, when it comes to sharing the burden,
I would
the
like
entire
to-
burden has been
I would like
asked.
to point out,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not true. It's not true.
Okay.
The fact that we are facing now, see, in spite of 3 rupees hike, the oil marketing companies and the government is absorbing around 21 rupees per liter. So that's what I'm saying. It's not true. The government, in spite of that, is absorbing it. And that's the role of the government, a
Okay.
strong government, a government which has a $697 billion foreign exchange reserve in spite of these difficult times, one of the highest in this world, right? And one of the highest ever for India. So this is the kind of, and another
Nikhil,
thing I would like
Nikhil,
to point out
Nikhil,
to Nikhil ji. He was
where did
talking
that data
about
come
that
from?
oil being, I'm sorry, just one point.
Okay.
He was talking about, the private companies actually refining oil and sending it back. He must know that the Russian oil is being, refined, and we do not, the kind of oil that comes in and the kind it goes out, it is pure business, the way like we import gold and it goes out.
Yeah.
So he should not mislead this country, the kind of oil. And that also stopped because of, Russian issues
Okay,
and all that.
okay.
So I
Coming
just
back to
wanted
that
make
data
sure
point,
that
where did that
he
data
comes
come
up with
from?
the right points.
Mr. Barrier has raised, concerns over the credibility of that data, Nikhil.
See, that's the point. He will try and raise concerns over the credibility of my data without actually countering it. My data about the Nigerian fuel prices comes from globalpetrolprices.com. My data about the 130,000 crude being imported and then 50,000 being sent back comes from an ABP report that
But
played just
Mr.
at
Barrier
7
is
p.m.
also
today.
saying that that's
And-
pure business play.
No,
that's
that's
business.
not. I'm sorry, not. No, that's not. That's not. There's something called as a force majeure clause. Most of the countries, most of the refineries in the world have invoked force majeure clauses. So if you say that Reliance Industries had some sort of a commitment to foreign players to give them refined oil, they can invoke force majeure clause, especially if the government tells them that you cannot export. Number one. Number two, he talks about current account
It is
deficit and
quite
inflation. I
laughable.
never.
You have on
Manish,
one
you
hand,
cannot interject in the middle.
Nikhil,
Force majeure
suppressing
clauses have been
prices,
invoked.
suppressing prices indefinitely could damage the economy even more. I mean, that's what experts are also saying.
No, my
well,
problem
he has
is
a
not the
complaint.
fact
The
that the
Congress
price.
party has a complaint that even
No,
when
no,
we
no,
are
no.
earning money and profit, in fact, America is complaining, but why are you profiting? Trump is angry that India is profiting
I'm
that
sorry,
way.
sir.
And look at the
Manish,
Congress
Sir,
party.
everything has gotten
hold on,
costlier.
no, Manish.
Congress.
Everything has pretty much
Manish.
gotten costlier. Who's earning money?
Manish, and one more thing, Manish, you and I or the country or the people of this country aren't earning money. It is Mr. Ambani. When we were importing cheap Russian oil at a discounted price, the money being made was by Mr. Ambani. When the profit is being
Absolutely
made on
not.
the oil being
I again
refined, it
think
is
I think you are
made
misleading the
by
country.
Mr. Ambani.
Right.
All right,
The
Reliance
he
Industries
pays
and the
the tax.
shareholders of
The
Reliance,
tax
if you
comes,
want
and
to.
it's not about Ambani again. Right?
Oh,
It's not
come
about
on.
Ambani. There are many.
Who the pro- who is-
We're getting
who is-
nowhere.
who is
We're getting
making the
nowhere. We're
profit?
getting nowhere.
And-
Nikhil, complete your answer, and I'll give the final say to Mr. Barrier. I was talking about how suppressing the prices might end up hurting the economy for a longer time at large. Throw some light on that as well.
Two important points here. So the government's main rationale for increasing the prices right now is that the OMCs are suffering losses. That is very true. They are. But they are not talking about the kind of windfall gains that they made. You're talking about thousands of crores of losses in the past few months. You're not talking about the lakhs of crores of profit in the past few years. So if they made that sort of windfall profit on account of cheaper crude oil, they should be able to absorb the kind of hit that they're taking right now. Number one. Number two, on the point of why should we keep on suppressing the prices? I'm not saying you do that, but at least be transparent and honest with the people. The government is not even willing to admit that there is a crisis. I've been on debates about this since the past 4 days, and every single debate, the BJP spokesperson has said ki koi sankat nahi hai, there is no crisis. I'm sure Manish will not say that. He's one of the finest and the most honest spokespersons of the BJP, but most of the others, including the Prime Minister, they're not even willing to admit that we have a crisis. You say we have a crisis, you bring in measures, you stop the export of refined crude from the country, and then let's figure out how to deal with this crisis. But you just have to say sab changa si, and then pass on these sermons ki aap
Okay,
EV
okay,
chalaiye,
all right.
aap sona
But
mat kharidiye.
I must bring in Mr. Barrier. It's going to be really unfair on my part if I don't go to him next. You've made your points, Nikhil. Your rejoinder, Manish, very quickly, and of course, a basic, economics question as well. How quickly do you think this fuel inflation is going to travel from the petrol pump to the food prices, to the transport, to the household expenses? I mean, the wallets are certainly going to burn. And that's where many will say that a political party will draw political mileage, but timing is suspect and heads will roll.
Kabirji, in fact, Nikhilji was very thrifty with data, and data you know that intelligent people can manipulate, and that is what he is doing when it comes to these oil marketing companies and what he was talking about the Russian oil. I don't want to get into that. What I would like to remind the viewers through you is that when the times were not so challenging under UPA government, they increased the price of petrol and diesel 9 times. 9 times. Yeah. Now you go back and see how many times this government has actually increased the price and under what circumstances. That is one. Second, the government is very clear, as less a pain to common man. And that is what we are doing. Right. At this point of time, you please look at globally where 3 rupees has been increased after 3 months. People are complaining that last 3 months you didn't increase the price. That's such a good thing because the whole world increased the price. And in the whole world, there are challenges which we as common person are not facing those challenges. The government is only putting
I'm being told I've
advisory.
completely run out of
that's
time
very
here.
important.